All right. I have not made one of these. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I've not made one of these live streams in a long time. As a matter of fact, I watched episode 8 probably, I think it came out 3 weeks ago. I've been out of town and my sister came to visit. And I've just not had enough time to make the live stream and talk about the show. Let me just double check, make sure we're on the air. I think we're on the air. Just as I'm getting halfway decent on doing these live streams, the damn show is canceled. Fuck. Now I'm not sure which one to talk about. Is this episode 9 or the fact that the show is canceled? So I want to address something real quick about this, really, just to start off. There are a lot of people that are online right now that are saying, people like me that are looking at this episode and not liking it, that somehow we were the ones that got it canceled. How did I get it canceled? I'm actually watching the damn show. So I can understand because look, Star Trek in the 1960s and Star Trek in 2026 is a business, okay? And it's a business about eyes watching the show on a screen. That's all it is. I mean, I'm going to tell you, if no one watched Star Trek in 1960, there would not be Star Trek in 2026. So the only thing that matters is that eyes are watching that screen. That's it. I've got a Paramount Plus subscription, and I watch that show. So if you want to say who canceled the show, it's because people did not watch the show. That's it. You can't blame me because I'm old or because I got something to say about it. You know, what I am doing because I'm talking about it is actually bringing more attention to the show. So, I don't know where people get the idea that people who have negative things to say about things are actually canceling the show. People are in business to make money. They're not in business to make friends with you. I don't care, if it was Gene Roddenberry all the way up to the guy, Alex Kurtzman, right, is his name. They don't know me. They will never know me. They don't care about me. All they care about is the number of people watching the show, right? If you want my opinion, I think it's a tactic. They are under the impression that no one's fucking watching the show, so they announced an early cancellation so people can get all worked up and then go watch the show. Doesn't that make sense? Why not create a controversy around canceling the show to stimulate people to watch the show? That's what I'll be honest, I probably would have done the same thing. So you can't attack people who are older than you, or people who like the old Star Trek, or people who, maybe the people who like the new Star Trek. The people are attacking each other online saying, "Oh, you old gooner, you got Star Trek canceled." It doesn't work like that. It's not about what I like. It's not about what I don't like. The only thing matters to the president of Paramount Plus, the guy that owns all of this stuff that's making billions and billions of dollars and riding around on a yacht someplace that could give a damn about some guy like me. The only things that matter is how much money that show is making. And how they determine how much money that show is making is how many people are watching that show and how many people they can market bullshit products to. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's nothing about people not liking gay people, people not liking black people not liking straight people. It's all about dollars and cents. If you could get people watching this show by the millions, They could have a show about scooping dog poop in the backyard. And nobody, you know what I'm saying? Dog poop in space. They could scoop dog poop in space. If millions of people tuned in week after week and watched it, that show would never get canceled. So don't grow up. Everybody needs to grow up. And I've got people online literally insulting me because I don't like the show, as if that's going to help anything. Like I said at the beginning, whether I like it or not is not going to put the show on. It's not going to keep it on. The only thing that's going to keep that show on is people watching the show. Now, if you really want to make a big difference, instead of arguing with people online, turn on the show and start from see. I bet this is what I would bet. I bet most people who are insulting other people online because they don't like the Star Trek, StarFleet Academy, I bet you those people haven't even watched the show. I would bet if every last person who's on there saying, oh, I love Starfleet Academy so much, if those people actually watch the show, and I'm not saying by some bootleg, I think a lot of people are watching things by bootleg. There are probably clips on YouTube you can watch and think you got the whole gist of the show. There's probably people trying to watch that show in a free way. When you're watching the show, it's just like the old days when we had, what was that streaming service? We used to burn the CDs for music. Napster. Remember old Napster? So when we used to burn a CD on Napster and we made our own CD of certain artists' songs, that artist did not get paid and they did not get credit for that song being number one because we were basically stealing his song. So what I'm telling you is if you don't have a Paramount Plus subscription and you don't log into Paramount Plus and you're not watching a show on Paramount Plus and you're watching it another way like YouTube clips or reviews by people and just want to fight, you're not helping matters. You know what I mean? I don't even want the Paramount Plus. I got too many streaming. I mean, it's too much of my budget. I'm going to have to cancel somebody. But what I'm saying is, if you want to make a difference and keep that show on the air, fighting with people like me is not going to do you a bit of good. What you have to do is get your Paramount Plus subscription and watch the fucking show. If the number of people who want to see this show grows because of this controversy, mysteriously and magically, they will have a season 3. I don't know why you guys don't get this. It has nothing to do with you fighting with your grandpa. And I am a grandpa. I had somebody call me, oh, grandpa, you need to get off the line. I am a grandpa. How's that an insult? I've lived long enough that my kids are grown and then they have kids, and that's how you become a grandpa. And I'm proud to be a grandpa. That's not an insult. I never understand when people are trying to insult you. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you again. But I don't understand how people insult people with things that they are. Anyways. So, like I said, my opinion, in which I am happy to share with everybody and anybody, but my opinion does not affect that show being on the air or not. Nobody cares. Maybe the 226 people have subscribed to my channel. They care, but 226 people is not going to get a show on the air, and it's not going to take a show off the air. Hey, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're good. It's a beautiful day today, so I thought I'd jump on here real quick, but then I got to go out and take some pictures and do some other stuff. So I want to address that up front. When people are attacking each other, I think what happened, and this is my theory on this Starfleet Academy, is that somehow, and I didn't catch this until somebody said it on somebody else's video, apparently someone in the Trump administration, I don't know if it was whoever, one of these people said the show was trash, right? I don't know who it was, but somebody said it was bad. And they said it was woke. And whatever, and they don't even know what that means, right, by the way. So so all of a sudden, a whole group of people got together and said, well, if the MAGA people say it's bad, then we're going to say it's good. And what they're trying to do is turn a Star Trek fan base into a cult. Well, we're not a cult. We're not a cult. We're a group of people that will like and dislike each in every episode on its own merits. I don't just like, for example, Voyager 249. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. I'm not downgrading or downplaying having 249 subscribers. Before starting this whole Star Trek discussion, I think I had 20. So I'm grateful for the people who are following me for whatever reason. I don't know why. I'm happy you're here. But anyways, Star Trek fans, and I've been a Star Trek fan for all my life. I will today say how much I love, Mirror Mirror, which is one of the original episodes, but then Turnabout Intruder sucked in the same original series. The Next Generation, had all those episodes that I love, which is, Chain of Command and Parallels with Worf. I loved all of those, but then Code of Honor sucked. Every show I can tell you the episodes I love and the episodes I hated. It is not a cult where I have to love every episode because it's the original series. Voyager, I love a lot of those episodes, but then some of them sucked. Deep Space Nine, they had one episode that was so bad where they were pretending to play some sort of hopscotch game. Come along. I can't watch that again. It's so dumb. But then they had By the Pale Moonlight, and all those were just amazing. So as a Star Trek fan, I have the right, and because I'm paying for my Paramount Plus subscription, I absolutely have the right to watch every episode and like and not like it per episode. I can even like and not like per character. There are certain characters I freaking hate. I don't like freaking Neelix. I don't care what he does. I don't like him. But I'm going to tolerate him because he seems to play off of Tuvok a lot of times in some of his scenes. I just, like you said, I just think people are trying to turn this into a cult because the cult guys on the MAGA side hate it, so we're going to have the cult side on the Star Trek fans. We're going to love everything that happens, and this is the best thing ever, and the two of these people are fighting. I'm not in either team. I'm still on Team Star Trek fan, where I'm going to look at each episode and judge it based on its merits. And unfortunately, for Star Trek StarFleet Academy, they have not had an episode that I like. And that's the problem with the series, season 1. I've gotten all the way to I've watched them, and you guys know because you've been here. I have watched every episode. I didn't just do like some people. I didn't watch clippets on YouTube. I didn't watch other people's commentaries. I sat down with a nice glass of bourbon and my cigar, and I sat up in my room and I watched the whole episode from beginning to end. And so I can clearly tell you what I felt about it because I watched it. I didn't have anybody tell me what to think. My dog, he fell asleep on every last one of them. So maybe he was a little biased, but everybody else had no opinion on how I felt about this. So with that in mind, welcome to my live stream. Let's see what you guys are talking about. It's so my problem has been, and this is a sort of series overall. I am happy that people are enjoying me, giving my thoughts on these episodes after I watch them. However, as I've said in previous live streams, the show is kind of painful to watch. It's very painful to watch. As you can see, it's taken me about 3 weeks to review episode 9. I haven't even seen episode 10. And by the way, the show's now canceled, so my motivation on watching 10 is out the window. Now, I'm going to tell you from episode 8, and I think I can tell you what the problem is with the show just with episode 8. Episode 8, in my mind, kind of gives the symptom. Excuse me, I had my lunch. Episode 8 is kind of the symptom of the problem with Starfleet Academy. And I'm not going to go through beginning to the end, but I'm going to go straight to the end. And Star Trek Starfleet Academy has a problem with scope. I think the people who are writing don't understand that Star Trek is a vision of the future. And I mean, maybe there are messages, and the message in Star Trek and every iteration of Star Trek is that sometimes, somehow, in the future, number one, we all make it. We all make it. Now, that's a huge lesson. I mean, somehow, with all the stuff we experience in our lives today, all the nonsense that's happening, you know, all the wars that are breaking out, all the things that has really, you know, who said this? Reviews got more play. Why do you think I'm on here doing this? I've never got this much attention on YouTube, and so I love the fact that people are interested in what I got to say about it. I want the show to keep going on because I'll keep doing this, as painful as it is, as long as people are watching. So I'm happy the show is on. I don't want the thing canceled. Then what are we going to talk about? So let me go back to the thought that I had, is that we're witnessing the fact, there's three things. We're witnessing the world, the universe, and everything about it is here in the future. Somehow, some madman doesn't press a button and blow us all up, right? That was a nightmare when I was a kid. I mean, when I was a kid, they gave us drills. When the siren goes off, stop, drop, you know, get under your desk. When the bomb goes off, maybe you'll survive. And I'm thinking, if there's a nuclear bomb, and when I was a kid, this desk is made of wood and aluminum. I don't think this is going to protect me from a nuclear bomb. But you know what? That's what they taught us to do. If the alarm goes off, you're supposed to go under your desk and hide your head under the desk. That was our nightmare, that one day someone's going to press a button and drop a nuclear bomb on us. But here we have a show that says that didn't happen. We make it. And not only does this show say we made it, it says everybody made it. Wow, you know, all the people on the planet, the different, you know, religions, but then all of a sudden, all the stuff that was really kind of holding us back. You know, the fact that if you were Jewish, and another person was Christian, and another person's Muslim, and another person is German, and another person is Italian, all those differences are no longer holding us back anymore. That was the dream of Star Trek, is that all these challenges and problems, even our technology problems, you know, you can go to the doctor and they can't tell what's wrong with you, so they got to cut you open. We don't even got to cut you open anymore and give you a shot. You know, my biggest night, I hate going to the doctor. My dog even hates, I tell you, going to the vet, where you got to get a needle and stick it in your arm to draw some blood and send it off to the lab. And then you're sitting there waiting for 10 days to see if you got some terrible disease. They can do something and scan you and know immediately what's wrong with you, and then take out this thing, the spray. It's not even a needle anymore, or something that runs across your arm. You burn your hand. You're not sitting there with a pack of butter on your arm hoping it'll heal. They've got the technology to somehow heal you in the future. And all the squabbles we had over, we hate each other because of race. We hate each other because of money. We hate each other because of the neighborhoods we live in. We hate each other because of age. We hate each other because, you know, of the different sports teams we like. All of that somehow got fixed too. You know, people aren't hating each other for those type of trivial reasons anymore. And that was the future that was presented to us, is that all of the stuff that we had to deal with today is solved. And that was the vision of the future. And it was like beautiful and vast, and somehow we all watched Apollo missions go off and to go to the moon, and it took them 4 to 5 days just to get to the freaking moon, and we're like, how will we ever get to another star? You know, but then we had this dream that somehow, because we knew space was this vast, empty, we're on a rock on an island, we're like Dormock on the island, right? But then Star Trek gave us this pseudoscience and technology that says we're going to be able to solve this problem. We're going to be able to fold space or warp space so that we can get from one point to another so fast that we can do it in 60 minutes before the episode is over. You know what I mean? We can't land the ship every time we go someplace. We've got a cool technology that's just going to beam the people down. You know, all this stuff was futuristic and beautiful. So I think what happened with the Starfleet Academy is they forgot that their canvas was this broad, huge, beautiful canvas of the whole universe, that you could have created anything, because it was, when they created Klingons, there was no Klingons in 1962. There's, you know, our whole concept is that there were little green, in the 1960s, I was alive, our whole concept of an alien were little green men on Mars, right? Star Trek gave us this vision that says, no, they're not little green men on Mars. There's a whole civilization of people flying around in ships too. And they're Klingons, and they're Romulans, and they're Andorians, and Orions. They're like, oh my God, there's so many people doing cool stuff out there, and some of them are nice and some of them aren't nice. So Starfleet Academy forgot that the canvas was the entire universe. and somehow, because the pseudoscience was not part of their DNA with the Starfleet Academy, they didn't understand that the universe is not just some neighborhood, right? So at the end of episode 9 in season 1, the villain, Noose Baraka, which I don't know, anyways, was able to concoct the scheme to put mines around the entire Starfleet space. So that's what I'm saying. They don't even understand how vast the universe, or the Starfleet universe, so to speak, which is not even the whole universe, that concept. And I think in the episode they said, we've got hundreds of mines. Do you know, it would take quadrillions of mines to surround the space that theoretically makes up what's called the Federation. So it seems like they don't understand the vastness and the grand scale of what they have to work with. You don't have to have mines surrounding things. This is, our universe is too large, and so their writing is too small. So they're writing about dumb things because they feel like the universe is small. That the fact that we have to keep combining aliens, you got to make, more Klingons. You don't have to make any more Klingons. Forget about the Klingons. If you want to have, like I said, if you want to have Jaden, make him something else, and nobody would have any kind of problem with it whatsoever. Make him anything. Like, look at that show, The Orville, with Seth MacFarlane, made a whole race of gay people called the Mocklins. Did anybody complain about that? No, that's just where they were. It's a whole planet. And they could have done that with this Jaden. You don't have to have a half Jem'Hadar, half, whatever the half she was, Klingon. It's unnecessary. You could have made her anything. You could have called her whatever you wanted to call her, because Star Trek encompasses the entire universe. And so your plate is open to the whole world. You don't have to have universe-ending stories because you've got an infinite amount of space to write your story. This season arc was just so predictable. This guy, little boy, runs away, right? He escapes from prison and runs off by himself at 6 years old, goes to jail, and is captured by Starfleet. Now, who couldn't predict that in episode 9 that he was going to find his mom? It was like a season arc which was so predictable, it was absurd. You knew that eventually he's going to find his mom because, that's what they're doing. But you could have done so much more. So now I've got 10 episodes. I've got 2 more left, 9 and 10. Somehow he's got to find his mom, either in 9 or 10, and that's exactly what happened. At the end of 9, he finds his mom. Now let's see what you guys are saying. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. They did lazy, boring writing, and so they could have done a lot more with that. Even with this story, look at episode 9. And then I'd like to talk about what they could have done overall with this whole show, this whole Starfleet Academy. So this show starts off. I can't remember a lot of it because it's been so long ago when I watched it. But they brought the Sam character back from being repaired, and on a positive note, I actually like this version of Sam. You know, Sam in episode 9 is actually smart. I mean, isn't that what you'd expect from a hologram that has its own computer or connected to a computer someplace? Well, this one actually seems like is like an android because it can get shot and hurt. But anyways, it's actually smart and can do stuff. So at the beginning of the episode, which is probably not the beginning of the episode because I'm forgetting exactly how this one begins. He is Caleb, who's the hero, is kind of lamenting, that his mom hasn't contacted him and he can't figure out how to get in touch with her. And Sam, the hologram, says, "Hey, did you check your email?" And he says, "I've been checking my email, but I forgot my password." So he says, "Why don't you try one of your old passwords that your mom told you?" And he types in what was like a 5-character, 6-character password. And it worked. This show is so stupid. Let me tell you something. In 2026, the password that they use for their email, I could not use for my email to log in to my sewer bill for my house. The website that only applies to the sewer bill in my house has more stringent password restrictions than a password on a pad in Starfleet Academy to 1,000 years in the future. And they wonder why we're calling this show stupid, right? That is beyond insult to anybody's intelligence. I mean, just for me to get onto this platform of YouTube and have this chat going, I not only had to put in a complex password, I have to have biometrics on my laptop to send a biometrics to it, and I have to have a second factor of authentication using my phone. And you mean to tell me I could go to any random pad in Starfleet Academy, which is a military institution, and I could type in the moon and a number, the name of somebody's cat and a number, Daisy 3, and that's going to work. Anyways, so it works. Okay, what are you guys talking about? Oh yeah, there was a lot of talking. Okay, so you're right. Okay, there's a lot. That's probably another reason. There's so much talking. So let me just. I'm just trying to remember what I saw, and it's been, like I said, it's been a while ago. So in the emails, Mom said, "Come to this planet, which is way far away, and we'll meet." So I think he goes to the captain. Her name is Aki. I finally, after 9 episodes, I probably figured out her name, right? We need to go see my mom. And she says no, basically. And true to Starfleet Academy, true to their style, even after she says no, somehow he plans and he steals a shuttlecraft. I'm just amazed at how easy it is for them to log into their email without appropriate authentication and to steal a military asset. So he takes the shuttle and steals it. And no one knows he stole it. And those are the two things. He stole it, and no one knew he stole it. I remember in the original series that somehow, when the shuttle bay doors open and they get warnings that somebody opened the shuttle bay doors, they said close the doors, but because of his drama, they could never close. They could never close the doors fast enough. So this is actually a Star Trek flaw. Somehow, in every iteration of Star Trek, somebody can always steal a shuttlecraft. If I get a ship, I'm going to say, can we please have a lock on the damn shuttlecraft and the shuttlecraft doors? Every time I turn around in Star Trek, somebody's stealing one of the freaking shuttlecrafts and taking off and going someplace. And we can't get them back. And the shuttlecraft doesn't have an auto, it's a command override that I can shut. You know what? Like I said, he's a genius key. Well, it gets worse. It gets worse. But, I remember he was playing checkers or something and got the shuttlecraft to go. Right, that's right. I forgot about that part because he had to play checkers. It wasn't like he just stole it. He went in there and played checkers in order to get the shuttlecraft to go. But while he was playing checkers, every last fucking cadet on the ship showed up randomly. Oh, I just so have to be on duty here. So the Genesis shows up. Then after that, Sam shows up because now she's like the Great Kazoo. She just zaps and appears everywhere and anywhere. So Sam shows up and says, "You'll never get through the Great Barrier." There's always a Great Barrier anyways. "Oh, you'll never get through without my help, so I'm going." Genesis just so have to be on watch, so I'm going. Who else went? Oh, the guy who was throwing up glitter. I forgot about that. Okay, so we got to back up now because at the beginning of this whole thing, we had Jaden having a Klingon ceremony with everybody he's calling his family. I don't remember this. I don't remember them being, this is where I'm confused. I don't remember all them people being close. I don't know. I don't remember them being close where he was calling them their family. I don't know. I think that was just derived and Fish Boy. That was just derived and created for episode 9. So all of a sudden, Caleb is in this ceremony to drink the flaming, which, was never part of any Klingon ceremony because we're all going to be brothers now. We're all family, anyways. So then Caleb declined, and that's how it began. He could decline because he was sad because he didn't have his mom. And then Sam came to comfort him, and that's where she helped him with the password and all that. Okay, sorry, I forgot a step here. All right, now we've got everybody on the ship taking this dangerous mission with the stolen shuttlecraft to an unknown world through the Great Barrier. And the only 2 people missing were the Betazoid lady, Tarima, I'm starting to get the names, and Jaden. Somehow they got left behind. Because you got to leave somebody behind, because if you don't leave anybody behind, no one knows how to go get them in dramatic manner. So they take off, and here comes Jaden to tell on them after they get safely off. It says, oh, by the way, Caleb stole a shuttlecraft. And he went to go get his mom. And I got his pad because there's no security on this damn ship and on the pads. And here's the email, and here's where he's going. So there we go. So now they have to go get him. Of course, they had to go get him. All right. So he makes it to the planet, Caleb, now in the stolen shuttlecraft, makes it to the planet. And the planet, I mean, he's dressed up. What's that game? There's a video game where they got the hood on. He looks just like that. My kids used to play that video game where the guy's walking around and he's got the hood on and he's got all the different weapons and stuff. But they look like they took that straight from that video game. They get in a little bit of trouble, but guess who they find right off the bat without even looking very hard? The mom. I mean, there wasn't even any suspense. She was like the first person they ran into. I mean, even a good video game is gonna make you, pick up a sword and pick up Assassin's Creed. That's it. I mean, look, I've tried to play that when my kids went off to school. That game was hard. I mean, it wasn't, Starfleet Academy could at least made it hard as Assassin's Creed, which is another game that was created in 2014 or something, because I know my kids play, so it had to be like 10 years ago when that game came out. So if Assassin's Creed, you at least had to pick up a sword and fight some things or whatever before you got to get your first reward or something. These guys met the mom, achieved the mission in one step. This is not even video game hard. But then there was a lot of drama, which, I mean, I could talk about it, but it's just a lot of back and forth. We're going to kill him. We're going to kill you. Everybody's going to die. We're going to take and tie up the hologram, and we're going to kill her. What? Wait a minute. Back up. How does the hologram get tied up? Planet Blade Runner, yep. Except Blade Runner was good. Could someone please explain how I tie up a hologram? Doesn't the hologram, maybe I can see the hologram pretending to be tied up, but it's not really tied up, right? Oh my God. Anyways. So then everybody's life is getting threatened. And at the last minute, here comes the Enterprise flying into the rescue, just like they did in the last episode of Picard. Season 3 of Picard, they had the ship come in, fly in, and rescue everybody just like that. These people are lazy as crap. They steal everything. Okay, I got a battery problem. My planning on this is poor. Hold on, let me change batteries, and I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. Right. Good thing I'm a better photographer, videographer than I am a YouTube streamer. If I messed up somebody's wedding like this, I get fired. Anyways, oh yes, you're 5'2", Mom. Why could this is crooked? Hold on. There we go. Yeah, we won't get into all the fight scenes, but they zipped them all off, go back to the planet. And then there was this, I just remember this standoff between, oh, you're the woman that put me in jail. Oh, you're the woman I put in jail. Oh my God, okay. So we had that standoff, and this is where we lead up to the fact that they're about to blow up the whole ship again. The ship is every ship, we're going to blow up the whole ship again. And then finally, they have to separate to the saucer section, only to discover that the whole universe is surrounded by a sphere. I mean, so that's that. I mean, I ain't got nothing more to say about this, but I'm just saying, I just think somehow they just have a really hard time with scale, because I think somebody did the math. And you don't have to do the math. I mean, and then apparently this work was done within weeks. And like I said, I just don't think they understand the scale and breadth of the universe. And that was a cliffhanger. And now we have to come back. At least I have to come back. Probably next. Well, there's no more. Episode 10's already out, so I can watch that probably next week or maybe this week or something, and see how this all concludes. I hate to say it, but I think it's probably going to conclude in some dumb way. I'm sorry. I'm gonna watch it with an open mind to see the cliffhanger conclusion of this exciting and thrilling show. So that's it. That's episode 8. I'm even gonna say if I knew nothing about anything else, I'm trying to do this where I'm trying to think, if I didn't watch the previous, am I just having a cumulative dislike of this show, or can any of these episodes stand on their own and make me feel like I at least like this one, right? I don't hate everything generally. I'm trying to watch these and say, at least I don't hate this one. I'm trying to find one. I don't want to be the guy that said I hate all 10. There's 10 episodes, and so far, they got like these 9 of them. So I got one more to go. And like I said, I'm watching them. And I watched one more. I watched episode 10. And so far, yeah, and they don't. You're right. They don't care about it making any sense. So now I'm going to segue into the overall Starfleet Academy, the problems. And I think I made a list. Look, I made a list. And people are wondering why this show has gotten canceled. I haven't watched The Acolyte. Somebody told me about that it was done that way. And I passed. Okay, so I passed. So I haven't seen any of that. So somebody has just told me about that. So I haven't seen any of it. And like I said at the beginning, I don't want this show to fail. I actually would like it to succeed. But I think the problem is because it's got the Star Trek label, there seems like there's hope, right? That's the whole point of Star Trek. There's hope for the future. And I made a list of, I think there's about 8 things that are blatantly wrong about this Starfleet Academy. And I think the biggest issue with Starfleet Academy, and I just sum it up with an overall thought and comment about it. The biggest issue is that we know about Starfleet Academy. They shouldn't have made a show called Starfleet Academy, because for 60 years, every captain, every lieutenant commander, everybody who's been on this show, in every iteration of Star Trek talks about their days at the Academy. Kirk talked about his days at the Academy. Picard talked about his days at the Academy. Riker talked about his days at the Academy. Janeway talked about her days at the Academy. Chakotay talked about his days at the Academy. Tuvok was a professor at the Academy. Everybody, Archer, everybody talked about their days at the Academy. And we got Wesley Crusher, who couldn't get into the Academy for the first time he tried, and people were giving him pep talks on getting into the Academy. So the Starfleet Academy was put on such a high pedestal because it trained all the people that we loved and admired to be the officers we saw on the screen. The impression we were given is that they've developed their discipline, their character. They were honed into these fine leaders and people that we see today based on their own personalities, that they were selected from an elite group of humans and aliens. They were the best of the best, and those best of the best were honed into the people we saw on the screen because they were given a discipline, a code. There was an episode of Voyager where, remember when the Maquis, they came onto the ship, and I think it was season 1. By the way, when people say season one of all of them suck, season one doesn't suck on every. Voyager season one was good. Deep Space Nine season one was good. Enterprise only had a few seasons. Season one was good. So you can't say season one sucks on every one of these shows and make that as some sort of a anecdote. That's not true. So in season one of Voyager, Tuvok's job was to train some Maquis to be StarFleet cadets or officers. And he put them through the ringers. He had them running, he had them learning stuff. And so my first overarching problem with StarFleet Academy is that none of these things I saw in 10 episodes of Starfleet Academy reflected any of the stuff that we were told about Starfleet Academy. We were expecting to see this elite institution of learning, and we saw a high school that was running on fumes. I mean, I understand that they try to put it after, the burn and recreating Starfleet from scratch. But even, like you said, Voyager is out in the middle of the Delta Quadrant, and they don't even have a Starfleet Academy. They just have a ship full of people. They were able to create an academy-like experience for some people to teach them the same level of discipline and chain of command. I have not seen a single person follow any chain of command on this show. this show, Star Trek is supposed to be a representation of the Navy, right? In all the nautical terms, every part of the ship, you can go on a warship today, and they have all the stuff. They got the aft, the port, the stern. They got tractor, all the stuff you can see on a warship today. Torpedoes, everything. They use the same terminology, the sailing terminology, everything. And there's no resemblance between what they're doing in this academy and what any military academy is doing to train their people to be ready to go on. It's not billions of dollars in the future because they don't have a concept of money, but you've got a ship capable of doing things that no other ship could do. It's flying at warp speed. Your life is dependent on the ship, and you're dependent on all the people on that ship to make sure that you're safe. You don't need dumb holograms. You don't need weak Klingons. You don't need doubtful aliens. You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need pranks. You don't need any of this dumb stuff because you're about to put your life on the line for this technology and for the people that you're with. And that's what I saw, what we thought we were going to see is this place of higher learning and the complexities of living and trying to uphold this whole Starfleet code of honor type of thing. And it had none of it. Like I said, no one's even... There hasn't been an episode where people have obeyed commands. I mean, it's like, what the heck? There's no chain of command. The captain says something and immediately somebody's stealing the shuttlecraft. And then it's crazy. There's nobody and there's no penalties for not following the chain of command. You don't follow the chain of command. It's like, okay, just go back to your room and then the two of you can make out and work your feelings out and come back and start all over again. So that was my overarching problem. I said with Starfleet Academy is this, it took too far of a departure from what Starfleet was, what our vision of it was, what we imagined would be happening. Now, if they said that this was just, a place that they take a reformist, or what's they call those schools where they take, do they still have those today? Reform schools? They should have called it Star Trek Star Reform School, right? This is where the people who don't make it into the academy, this is where they go. This is Star Trek GED. I'm serious. They should have called this show Star Trek GED. And guess what? We would have had a problem. This is where all the people who couldn't make it into the academy, this is where they go. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Look what they don't even appreciate being there. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like no one seems to even be happy. The one guy, the lead, Caleb, he considers being put there punishment. So I'm just saying this is the whole theme of what this is. Like I said, this really should be called Star Trek GED. And then guess what? I probably wouldn't have as many challenges with this show if this was really lowered expectation. Whatever you want to say, I agree. Lowered expectations. Just don't make it out to be Starfleet Academy because we it's just like telling me I'm going to a 5-star restaurant and then you take me to McDonald's. Okay, why do you just? My expectations were here, and this is what you delivered. Now, if you told me this is what you delivered, I said no thanks. I don't eat at McDonald's. And I probably would have skipped the show altogether because I don't need to see people with low expectations doing anything. So with that, I'm going to make my list. I have a list of things that went wrong. I think I've covered it in all the other things I talk about. And they're not in any particular order, but they are. One is this whole Jaden thing, right? And we're all the way up to episode 9, and he still hasn't done anything. I don't even see what the point of having the character. It almost seems like the only point is that they were trying to sneak a gay, and it wasn't even a good way. All they did was this Jaden was just sneak a gay character in on us. That's it. That's all they were trying to do. And because he hasn't done anything else. He hasn't really done anything. Could you name one? He even had a whole episode about him, and he really didn't do anything in that episode. He didn't really even debate well. He had to get help from the other guy, whoever Darren, and so he didn't do anything. He still hasn't done anything. So they didn't make him gay right off the bat, and they got the character using a weird voice. Which when you see a video of the actor, he doesn't talk like that. His voice isn't even low. It's very high. They should have let the actor act. But anyways, I'm gonna talk about how they could fix it. But that was one of the biggest problems in my mind is Jaden has no point. And the only way they had him around, his whole backstory was to destroy the entire Klingon mythology. That was just the whole purpose of Jaden. Just destroy the entire Klingon mythology so that we could introduce a gay character. It just seemed like a waste of character because it only serves a negative purpose. It didn't represent gay men because I don't know a single gay man that would act like that at work. I'm retired now, but when I was working, there are gay men at every job I've had, and not one wore a dress, and not one was flirting with other men at work. It didn't happen. I'm not a gay man, but if I was a gay man, I would protest this show because it's horrible. The second thing that was horrible about the show, unfortunately, is Holly Hunter. She is the worst. I just can't imagine her being in charge of anything. If they wanted to have, maybe like we said earlier, if this was the Star Trek GED school or the Lowered Expectation Academy, maybe that's who you have is Holly Hunter. But this isn't like somebody that is providing elite training to elite, cadets. There's no way to believe her character is not believable. That she would be the one leading anything. I can't imagine her. I mean, they had one episode, I think it was episode 7, where people were shooting at the ship, and she was talking about protect the front of the ship, and they're shooting on the back. The writers even made her sound stupid. So no, there was nothing about her. The third thing was the poor use of fan service. I think that really caused the show to fail miserably. I mean, the fact that every time you turned around, they were taking something from Enterprise, they were taking something from Discovery, they were taking something from Voyager, and then they were kind of tweaking it and making it like, and we're all sitting here like, that's not what that was about. It's like way back in episode 3, I think they had the whales from, they just had them in the exhibit. That wasn't the point of having the whales in Star Trek. They were trying to save a whole civilization, not just have fan service that we saw. Oh, look, there's whales, and then the whole thing about Cisco. Oh, look, there's Cisco. It just seems like everything they were using from all the other Star Trek were just poorly used. The quotes they were trying to use from the previous shows were misquotes. It was just lazy and ridiculous. Jesus, cool. Oh my God. So I don't mean to make fun of people getting a GED. I think if you get a GED, it's better than getting nothing, right? But I would be, anyways. Let's see what's next. Another person that was useless. It made no sense. The Jem'Hadar Klingon lesbian lady. It made no sense. I mean, having her just be loud and obnoxious, there was no point to that character. That brought the show down. Every time, as you notice, they didn't have as many scenes with her. It just was like there was no point in having somebody running around yelling at people unless it was a reform school, right? It just didn't make sense. It wasn't like discipline. She was just yelling and it made no sense. The number 6 I put on my list is the pseudoscience. I think when you do pseudoscience, they've got access. I would imagine if you talk to a Neil deGrasse Tyson or some physicist, they would happily, willingly, freely consult on Star Trek. I think if they'd have just called them and said, hey, we got an episode and we're thinking about putting mines around the entire universe, Neil would say, nah, you can't do that. What would be better, you know what I mean? It's, that's what they need. They need somebody, you just can't have somebody with a clean slate where their slate is so clean that they're ignorant of science. The pseudoscience in Star Trek inspires real scientists in 2026 to try to create and find the things that they talk about in Star Trek. The fact that in parallels, remember the one in TNG where we had multiple timelines and multiple realities? Guess what? Scientists today are studying quantum theory and quantum mechanics are looking for that. Maybe it doesn't exist, but they're looking for it. And it inspired a lot of people to do what they're doing today because they saw that in the future, maybe we can travel faster than light. Maybe that's not the speed limit, And so we got scientists that are studying things. The technology should inspire people to want to do more and better. Oh yeah, I don't know who would be your favorite character. Well, that's another thing. I think online, people are just saying how much they love it, but I never see anybody say specifically what character they love or why they love them. They just don't like people that don't like the show. Number 7 on my list, well, pseudoscience is huge because I think if they did better with the pseudoscience, think about Janeway. She did nothing but technobabble. And she was she was just amazing. We're going to go and change the temporal shielding, blah, blah, blah. And she just rattled that stuff off. Not only did she seem tough, she seemed amazingly smart. If anybody watched Voyager and somehow come across the impression that captain didn't go to some academy and was an A student at that academy, you missed the point. None of those characters are likable, but I keep going back to Janeway because I got a female captor. She was like amazingly smart. She was amazingly tough. There was one episode that had Janeway. It was called Year of Hell, and at the end of it, she was gonna crash the whole ship into the time ship and sacrifice herself. And that's one of my favorite lines. Is before this thing crashes into the other ship, she says, "Time's up." Boom! It was like, oh my God, that's Janeway. And she was, oh yeah, that's right. She was actually a scientist, and she would sit and consult with Leonardo da Vinci. And that's what I mean. That is what you admire about a captain that's exploring space. They're not out some weirdo with their shoes off. This is a real living scientist who is a badass on top of that. So it's great. I mean, it's not just good to be, we don't want women to just focus on their emotions. We don't want gay people just to focus on having sex with another gay person. We don't want the black people just focusing on being black and talking jive or whatever to what they were doing with some of these characters, just trying to, the one Sam is just dancing and stuff. We don't need these stereotypes for our characters. We want them to be great scientists. We want them to be, well, if we're not going to make Jaden a warrior, Make him a doctor like you said at the beginning. If you would have just made him a gay person and then focused on him being a doctor, and every episode he's doing cool doctor shit, this would have been a completely different show. You had the guy, the fish guy walking on the hull, and he changed into a whole different alien and was able to walk in space, but then that never came up again. You know, it wasn't like he took those abilities and became some sort of amazing something. None of these kids became amazing anything. They were just emotional wrecks. The Betazoid has this amazing power to create stuff in your mind and to destroy people's brains. And you know what that caused her? Trauma. That's my number 8. All they focused on was trauma and emotions and how broken these people are, and they don't have good family. And it was just like listening to some kids today. Some rich, spoiled kids talking about how much they don't like their parents while they're driving around in a Porsche. You're like, shut the hell up. But what I'm telling you, these characters, they didn't accomplish, and this name of this episode is 300th Day, it's the first year. They didn't accomplish a damn thing in this whole 300 days of being in Starfleet Academy. Nobody became better at anything. And that's my biggest problem. It's not about old and young. It's not about gay or straight. It's not about woke or not woke. You had a whole group of characters, and we watched 10 episodes, and they never got any better. They were the same weird, broken people after 10 episodes of watching. There was absolutely no payoff for me watching Caleb from the moment he ran away from a little boy to the moment he got back with his mom. He was still the same dumb character. The Klingon was the same gay character and dumb from beginning to the end. Genesis was uncomfortable. She gets on the bridge. Oh, I gotta pee first. Is that the next episode I saw in the clip, or was that in this one? Nobody grew at all. And so why do you want me to like this? Star Trek isn't about people stagnating into their emotions and their fears and their doubts, and we're supposed to feel sorry for them in their weakness. We're supposed to show us that we can overcome these things and become stronger and better versions of ourselves. These people started off awful and weird, and they're even still more awful and weird, and I'm getting insulted online because I don't like these awful, weird characters. Caricatures. These are caricatures of these things. It seems like somebody, look at the Jaden character. He's got on a dress and the biggest shoes you could ever imagine. There's probably some cartoon that looks like that. And I don't know, and that's what they wrote. Caricatures. These aren't people that you like. These aren't people that you want to emulate, and you don't admire one thing that they've done. Yeah, there's nothing to think about. It's not thought-provoking. It's just there. How do we fix this? Number one, I would say listen to the name of your show, Starfleet Academy. Maybe during the break, these people, well, they've already filmed, and that's why it's canceled. Maybe they can delete. I mean, they got time now. You're canceled. Maybe you can delete those and just do something independent. Make one episode. Try to save yourself. Make one episode where delete one of your first episodes and try to make a new one. And put them actually in an academy. Yeah, put them in an academy where they're learning something. Give them some teachers. I don't think in the show, I don't think they even went to class more than once or twice. Put them in a classroom setting. Remember that movie, Paper Chase, where they would go and they had the teacher that was challenging them. They still had all sorts of cool stuff happening outside of class, but that class became, don't make them fight any more Paul Giamattis and no more aliens and no more destroying the universe. We've done that enough. Leave them in class, right? Give them some interesting teachers to battle out some wits and battle out some strategy to be able to give them something challenging to do in the class and stop using the hologram doctor. He's not that interesting. Come up with some different, teachers that can challenge them and can work with them and do something with them and have a lesson around each class or each challenge with that class. Try that. Instead of trying to promote some sort of a message or an agenda about, LGBTQ or whatever it is, make the message about something meaningful in that class. We get it. We get it's just like Star Trek. We got that the captain was a woman. We got that the captain was black. Just like, Deep Space Nine. You saw the man was black. Nobody needs to say anymore. Now let's go. We got him. Now let's go. We don't need to sit around talking about it. We got him. He's right there. You got the guy that's gay. You got him. Let's go now. Let's do something with him. And so, so that's what I would say is make it about Starfleet Academy. That's number one. Number two, there's 3 characters that are irredeemable. The captain is irredeemable. I would get rid of her. There's got to be another woman out there. Well, there is. What do you mean there's got to be? You could pick a woman that could play a strong lead that you can come in there and just kick some ass. I love when they pick somebody that's really somebody that we can really get to, dig our teeth into as the captain. Maybe they can find somebody just to do one episode to say, this is what the show could be like. Just give more funding and we'll delete the rest of season 2 and just start over with these people. Get rid of that captain. Number 3, get rid of the Jim Hadar Klingon lady. There's no point to that. And add a couple of new aliens. Let the gay guy be a gay guy. And don't make him half Klingon. Make him just a gay guy from some other planet and just run with that and make him a doctor. Just go ahead and make him a gay doctor and run with that, and don't worry about the Klingon stuff anymore because you've ruined it. I think if they made those 3 tweaks and changes and then found some stories, there's people who've written hundreds and hundreds of Star Trek stories about Starfleet Academy, but if you can't figure out, there's a ton of movies out there. If you want to steal from movies like The Paper Chase. What's that one with the movie... not Running Colors. It was one the guy was Jewish. And he was at this prep school. Yeah, have a gay story, a gay person that's interesting, not just the fact he's gay. But there was a movie about, I can't remember, it doesn't matter. But there's all sorts of really good, The Graduate. You can have that movie. There's all sorts of cool movies you can kind of just borrow from if you don't have any creative ideas yourself. People who went to the academy and learned something, and borrow from those movies. Look at some of the old military movies and look at how the chain of command is taught. And Dead Poets Society, look at that movie. And what if they developed some stories based on that show? All the different shows. This would be I believe those actors are probably really good actors. They're reading the script, so it's not their fault. Give these actors some real meat and some things to act against, and I think you can have something. I don't want the show to go away. I want the show to stick around because I want to keep making these videos. I would love, this is my hope. I'm going to try to watch season 2. I don't know what they're going to do. They'll probably put it all out at once, or maybe they'll put it out once a week, just like they did season 1. Maybe season 2 is going to come out once a week again, too. I don't know, based on the philosophy, I doubt it's going to get any better because I think they did an interview with the Jaden character and he says season 2 is more gay than ever. I don't know why they talk like that. The Laura Thok lady, she was talking about how she don't like the fan. I just don't know. School ties, that's it. I just don't know how these people expect to gain support and fans while insulting lifelong fans. That philosophy I don't get. That's just like if I'm going to be playing a character in Les Miserables, and I know how that goes, but I'm going to do a rap version of it. I don't know if people are going to like it because there's no rap. I shouldn't be surprised when people hate the fact that I made Les Mis into a rap. I think people should be upset about it. They've watched the thing for 600, all these years. I hope they don't do that. I'm going to tell you, I hope they don't do that. But if they do that, I'm still only going to watch it once a week because, truth be known, this was very taxing on my brain because, as you can imagine, no matter how much people think you like to tear, I don't like tearing anything down. And only stating the obvious, if there was a glimmer of goodness in any of the episodes, and I did say, like in season 8, the fact that they made Sam smart now, that's a huge step in the right direction, right? That's a huge step in the right direction. That's the only character I think that has shown some growth, is that Sam. The Sam from episode 1 through about 5 or 6 was dumb as bricks. They had her licking dirt. They had her, running around and punching people. It was just the dumbest character, but then they sent her off to get rehabilitated, and she came back. The dialogue she was having was actually good. So I would say that's a good start. Everybody else still sucks. So work on that. I mean, if they make the characters even worse, then it's done. So I'm going to try season 2. But don't worry about me. I've been watching. Let me tell you what else I've been watching. I've been watching this other show called Man in the High Castle or something like that. I think that's what it's called. That's kind of good. And then I'll go watch after that. After that I'll watch some Star Trek. I'm in Voyager right now. I'm in season 4, and I didn't realize, to be honest, from season 1 through 4 how many really, really good episodes there were that didn't have 7 or 9 in it. Because Voyager, we start talking about 7 all the time, but up from 1 through 4, before she shows up, there's some really good. I don't know about. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a little, like you said. I don't know about this. What's her name? The Tig. What's her last name? I forgot. But I don't know. I think she would be better without She'd be better without the Laura Thok lady being her partner. I think she's better on her own. I mean, I think she's a strong enough character. Yeah, blow up Laura Thok and then just leave the Reno as the captain. Get rid of Holly Hunter, and then bring in about 10 teachers, right? Like, remember, I'm old, okay? So my references are going to be old. Remember that old show, Room 222? I don't know how old you guys are. And if you never heard of that show, don't Google it and find out it was on like in the 70s and say, dude, it's really old. But I remember that show. It was called Room 222, and they had all these teachers, and you started liking the teachers and the kids interacting with their teachers. That seemed to be a cool show. I mean, why don't they make something like that? Make it Starfleet Academy, focus it in Starfleet, give them some interesting teachers, give them some interesting stories while they're learning how to be cadets. Don't send them off on any more fucking missions. Let them stay in the academy, learning, interacting, and growing, and maybe you can have somebody graduate and go to a ship, but let's keep them on. Let's keep them in the school for a little bit longer. No more, like I said, no more Paul Giamatti's, no more universe ending scenarios. Just let them go to school and do some cool stuff. That's my welcome back. Wake up. Well, what's a good one? Welcome back, Carter. That was a funny show. Then Tig Notaro? She's a comedian. She can do it just like Gabriel Kaplan, Yeah, Cooley High. I mean, there's so many high school movies you can steal from and make some really cool stuff. If they want to make it funny, but leave them in school. All right, that's it. I gotta go. I got some stuff to do today. The weather's beautiful. Hey, I'm glad. Like I said, I appreciate you guys following me. I'm gonna be one. I for one, I'm sad it's canceled. As bad as it is, I want it to be better. I wish it could be better. Maybe one day one of them CBS. That's not CBS. Paramount people or somebody will. Maybe they'll see one of my things. They'll see. They'll see one of my live streams and maybe they'll get an idea. That's why and as Star Trek people, we're eternally hopeful. I am. I'm eternally hopeful that it's gonna be better. And if it's not better, I hope the next series, whatever it is better. I can't take another Discovery. See, Strange New Worlds was okay. Was it the first 2 seasons? And season 3 was like, just please, please. All right, I gotta go. Thank you, love you guys. Thanks for following me. If hit the subscribe button if you've not already done that. And like I said, I'm grateful for everybody that sits around and listen to what I got to say. All right, I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll be on here again with. I'm not done. I got to do episode 10, so I'll watch that sometime, and then I'll be back with that. Okay, peace out. See ya.